Hello viewers, Flash Motorsport here and welcome to Kiel Army. Right now we're qualifying to see what place we get throughout the race. As you come down to the first corner, down the second gear, rub the inner curb and power on out the other side. As we're crossing over the start and finish line, I have noticed, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed, so let me know down in the comments below, that the ramming problem has seemed to disappeared. These last few races I've done right now have been so much better than they were previously. I mean, I know it was a week or so ago, but I don't know, this week seems to be much better sportsmanship as well as other drivers being more mindful of the situations around them. Seriously, I've done about 7 races today throughout the day, and not one person has rammed me, punted me anywhere, or anything like that. It's been quite pleasant to race. Of course there's a bit of door rubbing and things like that, but as long as you're not punted off the track or sent anywhere, a bit of door rubbing is a bit of fun, let's be honest. Just making each other aware that you're there and you want to make a move. But as we're coming through here right now, rubbing the 2 curbs, one on the right hand side is more important than the left hand side, but if you hit the left hand side you do get a better line up for the right hand side. Power on up the hill. You look on the left hand side as the curb just about starts there, braking down to second gear, rub this in the curb and power on as you're halfway through and down the hill and out the other side. As we're coming down this hill, you want to keep in the center here to the right hand side and then come round. You can take this flat out to your left hand side, rub this left hand side curb and look at the board. There's the 100-meter board, braking down to second gear. I want to try and clip this in the curb and power on as you clip that curb and bring it out to the outside. You can rub that outer curb, it's perfectly fine. Let off here, dab of brakes and give it a little nice slide around, or you can go over the sausage and everything. It's quite easy to go over and doesn't really upset the car too much, and you can save a bit of time, give or take. It depends really how much you're aiming into that corner and how fast you're hitting it. You can see I got P1. That was not my best lap. It was, I find that this qualifying I didn't do too well on, but apparently I did quite well. I don't know, I mean I'm 3 seconds faster than P2. But as you're coming through here, rub that left hand curve down in second gear, come over this here, let it bring you round into third gear, dab on the brakes and then turn in and then power on out the other side. Coming up here, you want to keep over to your left hand side. As soon as the curb starts on your left hand side, let off the throttle, dab of brakes, get the nose down a little bit, put the weight on the front wheels and then just feather the throttle to the outside here. Come over to your right hand side, the 50 board has been knocked down, so that's where you brake, and that's why I went a little bit wide. Watch the sand on the right hand side curb, it can upset the back end of the car, but as you come down here, pull over to the left, hit this curb and then back over to the right hand side and try and hit that curb and not miss it as much as I did. Coming up the hill flat out, you want to look out for the curb starting on your left hand side. It stops and then starts again, braking down to second gear, rub this in the curb, power on as you get halfway around the corner and then back down the hill and out the other side. Keeping on your right hand side, just like I say, keep flat out, rub this in the curb on your left hand side and then looking out for the 100 boards and then start braking down to second gear. As you come down to second gear, let off the brakes, let it coast round, hit that in the curb and start powering on and bring it to this left hand curb here. Keep your throttle on, let off and then rub this curb just like that and come down. Looking at the 50 board, braking down to second gear, rub the left hand curb and cross over the start and finish line. That is going to give us a slower lap than we had before. P2 is 155, we're on 153.8. I say these weren't my best laps, but I managed to hold on to P1. So as we start the race, I did choose to go for medium tyres this time around. Like I said, I've done the hard soft strategy and it does work to a set essence, but really as you are starting in P1, you're better off with just going on the medium tyres. You have to pit regardless anyway, hard tyres ain't going to make it round. So you might as well just go for medium and just try and keep consistent. Keeping in the left hand side, I've given a bit of space to the inner car. As you can see, a few in the mirror has gone a bit wide. Over this curve and back over to the right hand side, braking, bringing it round, clipping the curb a little bit. Yeah, I was a few millimeters away and coming down here. We're starting to create a gap from Mad 84 behind us. He's 0.9 seconds away. Come around here, let it coast round, just feather the throttle, try and keep it on the inner curb until you see the outside, and then bring it round to the outside. Braking at the 50 board, down to third gear, let it coast round, try and clip that inner curb and not miss it like I did. Again, watch out for that sand. If you do get onto that sand, get that car straight as quickly as possible, because like I said, the back end becomes quite upset and it can be quite a fight to bring it back and hold on to it. So if you do hit that sand, get that car straight and let it coast through and get off the sand before you again apply steering. Braking here down in second gear, clip that in the curb, power on as you're halfway through. We're now creating a 1.2 second gap for the car behind. I don't know what's going on with Forza at the minute. I've noticed if you look at the time gap for the cars behind, sometimes the time gap goes a bit loopy. Sometimes they like massively catch up on you out of nowhere, and then suddenly out of another corner they're quite a distance time away, and I don't know what's going on there. Where before it used to be able to calculate better, now I find it calculates literally how far away from you they are at the speed they're traveling, rather than the time it takes to get around the track, if you get what I mean. I don't know if anybody else has noticed it, but sometimes it can be a bit skew with. And I've also noticed in other races as well that you could be behind someone in P1 that's 11 seconds away, and this was an example I had at another race. P1 was 11 seconds away and P2 was 11.4 seconds away, and I couldn't figure out how could they be further away but be in a closer position to me. So like I said, I don't know if anybody else has noticed it. Let me know down in the comments below, but I found it a bit weird and a bit janky. So as you're coming through here, again, looking on the left hand side, hitting that curb, letting it coast round about 90, 92, 95 miles per hour. As you come out of the corner, bring it out to your left hand side, braking at the 50 board or just after it, rubbing this curb on your left hand side, powering on, again trying to avoid a soundtrack, but getting up to the outside line. Come over your left hand side over this curb, and then bring it over to the right hand curb. You can bring it into fourth gear and slide it out this left hand side. Just be careful, sometimes you can run into the tiniest amount of understeer. Just let off the throttle a little bit and get the nose back down, and it'll grip all the way round nicely. Coming down here, come out a little bit slowly, but we are still 3.7 seconds ahead of P2, so we're doing alright for time, to be quite honest. Coming down here, left hand side, powering on, looking out for the 100 board, braking down to second gear and clip the right hand curb. As you come out the curb, bring it over to your left hand side whilst accelerating, keep it on your left hand side, third gear, rub this over this curb like that. Came over just nicely, funny enough. It was a bit of a bang, but it didn't upset the car. Down to second gear at 50 board, come through here and over the start and finish line. Coming out the pits for the start of lap 6, you can see on the board the timer's coming down quite rapidly, but the person in P2 does have 1.7 second penalty. So obviously they're not pitting this time around, and maybe on hard tyres, which obviously gave them an advantage on time for not having to pit and catching up to me here. Vocal winner 95 is 6.3 seconds away, and Mad 84 is 10.5 seconds away. So we are making still quite a lot of gains on the cars behind, but I do believe Crazy Nadian will have to pit regardless anyway, because even if you're on hard tyres, you're never going to make the 8 laps unless you're tyre saved all the way around, and if you're tyre saved all the way around on hard tyres, you're never going to be in a P2 position. You'd be quite lucky to be within the race, to be quite honest. Just a little bugbear about it, that's all. There's a little bugbear about the tyre wear. I think it's a bit too much sometimes. It would be great to complete a medium race on a hard set of tyres, or 2 sets of mediums, rather than no matter what you're still having the pit if you choose the harder tyres. I think if you choose the harder tyres, the time penalty you get should be enough to offset the time penalty for the pit. So I think 1 set of hard tyres should last a full medium race, and it would be quite competitive to see actually how much better it would be to run on the hard tyres throughout the race, or would it be 2 set of medium tyres would create you a faster lap time or race time overall. Let me know what you think about it. Should a medium race be 2 sets of medium tyres and 1 set of hard tyres, or do you prefer having to pit regardless and rather go hard and soft, or medium and mediums? It would be quite interesting to see really if you chose to go soft throughout the whole race. So you're gonna have to pit at least twice, because a medium soft set of tyres will last you 2.5 to 3 laps on. You'll be knackered on 3 laps, and you'll probably be quite in the orange towards the end of the 3rd lap. But it will be quite interesting to see if you chose to pit twice, really how much time you lose overall throughout the race if you chose that strategy. While we're on our last lap, as you can see in P2 is 8.3 seconds away. I've still got a good bit of grip on these medium tyres. I did choose to go for an extra lap on the medium tyres before I pitted, rather than have the worn tyres towards the end. I just wanted to see if it would make much of a difference, and to be fair it really has, because this last lap I am quite a bit quicker than already my best of a 154.043. We're rubbing these 2 curbs, 3rd gear, accelerating. I could have gone through a little bit faster. As you can see, I still had a little bit of track width left to go through, so I should have gone into 4th gear and carried powering on rather than to be a bit more hesitant on it. Coming through here, 2nd gear, powering on out the other side, down the hill, and keeping to your right hand side. You can see 0.5 seconds faster than my best here, so I'm looking to get a 153.5. Looking out for the 100 board left hand side, braking down the 2nd gear, rub this right hand curb, and then power on as you've clicked the curb. Over to your left hand side, 3rd gear, letting off, rub this curb, straight over like that, accelerating some more down to the 50 board, braking down the 2nd gear, pull over to your left hand side, rub this curb, powering on, and crossing over the start and finish line. We have lost a few tenths of a second there. I could have gone through that last 2 corners a little bit quicker. Overall came P1, and I do believe we actually have the fastest lap on there as well. Yeah, looking at 154 or 158, 159, 156. So yeah, we do have the best lap overall, as well as obviously getting P1 position. I was quite shocked, to be fair, because I thought my qualifier wasn't the best, and the racing was getting better over time. I didn't think I was worthy of a P1 position. So I decided, did you know what? Let's do this again. I waited the time out about an hour and a half for the race to come back around, and I decided, let's give it a try again. So if I manage to win in this race as well, you got to hit that like button. It's got to be worth it. Qualified, got P1. As the race starts, crossing over the line, looking for the car to my right hand side. They do have sort of the better line down here. Because I rub the outer curb and then bring it in, they might have the optimal line. I've got to take it slower than they do. We're braking just after the 100 board, clipping this in the curve, trying to maximize coming out of this corner as much as I can. As you can see, they are on my right hand side, but they are backing out of the corner, which is really grateful and really nice. I thought they will keep the pressure on. Over the left hand side, down the 3rd gear, powering on and coming out the corner and trying to create a bit more of a gap. You see, I was 0.8 seconds away, so they're no longer in the slipstream, and the Peugeot is creeping up on that person as well, so that is great. That means them two are going to have a battle, and I can just basically pull away from them. Hopefully they keep that battle on. And as you can see, I missed this corner because I'm too distracted by what's going on behind me. It didn't cost me too much. I'm still 1 second ahead of them, rubbing this curb on the left hand side, bringing it back over to the right hand side, and power on out the corner, and up the hill we go. Now we're still making a good bit of time gain on them, and this is what I want consistently. Them two are quite battling with each other, and that's only going to benefit us overall. You can see the Peugeot has now made a move in that person, and to be fair, the MG is quicker in a straight line and accelerating than the Peugeot, but the Peugeot does outhandle the MG by quite a good margin, to be fair. It really does corner very well, that Peugeot. But losing my brute force of power, I'll hopefully be able to keep away from them. We're over this curb. I did bottle it. I took it a little bit deep, so there was a bit of a twitchiness and trying to not get myself a penalty. Coming over the start and finish line, we are 2.45 seconds now, 2.5 seconds away from the cars behind, and still accelerating away from them. Now hopefully the MG will catch up to that Peugeot some more, where they're going to be in slipstream with each other. You can see on the time they are battling each other quite a bit. They're basically racing each other down the straight. I say while they keep battling, I can keep sneaking away. Couldn't get any better than that. It really couldn't. As you come over right hand side, bring it over to your left, miss that curb by a mile like I just did. Honestly, don't try and hit that curb. And come over here and come over to the left hand side, looking out for the curb to start, letting off. I dabbed off the brake a little bit, get the nose down, get the weight on the nose, rub this right hand curb. As soon as you see it open up, power on, keep away from the sand, braking just after the 50 board, basically where that curb starts and the 50 board, and come over again. As you can see, I do hit that sand trap and I plant the car straight as I can just to keep that back end in check. Rubbing this curb, bring it over to the right hand curb, and accelerating up the hill we go. Try and cut this corner here just like that, looking on your left hand side as much as you can. As soon as the curb starts, braking down to second gear, rubbing this in the curb and power on out the other side, and back down the hill we go. Keeping over to your right hand side, you want to try and maximize as much power down this hill as you can. Bring it over, rub that left hand curb again. You can take it flat out, looking out for the 100 board on your left hand side, braking down to second gear, rub this right hand curb. And I don't know what happened here, I got caught into a bit of something and the car understeered more than expected, so it's cost me a little bit of time here. Rub this curb on your right hand side, just get a nice little slide like that. That was quite a nice healthy slide. Obviously you're going to increase tyre wear doing it, but you look awesome at the same time, so you know, sometimes it's worth it. Coming over the start and finish line, we're going to set a 154.672. Now obviously I could do better than that, we've seen it before, so let's keep on pushing. We are 3.2 seconds ahead of P2. As we come out the pits for the start of lap 5, I decided to pit one lap earlier due to having so much tyre left over on a previous race. Thought we might as well go for it. You can see a few cars have caught up to me. It's probably because they want to have an extra lap on the medium tyres, or maybe some of them are on hard tyres. It's quite hard to tell, but they are catching up a little bit. My tyres are still a little bit cold and need a bit of care and love to warm them up. Coming up the hill, we are now starting to break away from them. They're probably just on the wear marker now, and that kind of drop off, like I say, is like turning a switch. You know, it's not a gradual wear. It really does drop when you get onto the yellow marker, and then it falls off a cliff when you get onto the moderate wear. It's really bad when it happens, but we are still making a good bit of time away from them. Mad Sidecaster 3.5 seconds away, and Mikarine 92 3.3 seconds away. Coming up the hill, keeping on your right hand side, you want to look out for the curb starting, braking down second gear, bring it in on your left hand side, and accelerate halfway through the corner, and down the hill we go. There was a little bit of stuttering, as you saw there. I don't know what's happened since the update. I had an update on Forza. It set everything back to 4K because whatever. I don't know why it seems to like 4K resolution on here. It's only a 1080p monitor, so yeah, I don't know why I chose 4K again. Everything reset, so I had to go through the settings and put everything back to the way they were before. And I'm starting to get these odd stutters in the race, and I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but there's the odd flicker now and again within the race as well. Let me know down in the comments below if you've noticed these weird issues of random stuttering that's coming out of nowhere, as well as random flickers that I've noticed. Sometimes there's like a black flicker or a white flicker. I just don't understand it. You know, we just had a patch to fix the crashing issue. Now we got random stuttering and flickers on the screen. As we're on lap 8 now, our final lap, we are 6.1 seconds ahead of player 2. And as you can see, I've also set a new best lap of a 152.857, which I think is absolutely brilliant for a set of medium tyres. I do try again on this lap, see if I can set a better time as well. Coming through, we still have a good bit of tyre left, so really pitting on lap 4 or lap 5 is quite a good place to pit. So yeah, pit lap 4 for the start of lap 5, and it's quite an even wear. You don't really get onto the markers like I did on the last race, so really the tyre wear is pretty even, and quite well thought out of on this race. I know it's 4 times tyre wear for online racing than it is normally, but with the mileage and the distance on this track and whatever, it seems to wear out quite evenly halfway through the race, changing to a set of medium tyres. So it's not really beneficial to skip a lap really like I did earlier. So just a point I like to point out. Coming over the left side, looking for that for 100 board, braking down the second gear. My markers just come up saying tyre wear. As you see, they're both yellow, so I'm just ragging it around the corner. It doesn't really matter. I have won the race. Bringing it over to the curb, 7.2 seconds away. Braking at the 50 board, down the second gear, rub this left-hand curb, and slide on out the other side. Like I say, I'm pushing it, just create a bit of wheel spin. Might as well get your money's worth out the rubber. As we've finished the race, we got P1 position. Remember, got to hit that like button for winning P1 again. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.